Welcome to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show with your hosts, Phil Proctor and Ted Bonnet. Phil and Ted's guest is comedian, survivor, and pop star dad, Jamie Alcroft. And now, your sexy boomer hosts, Phil Proctor and Ted Bonnet.
Welcome to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. I'm Ted Bonnet.
And I'm Philip George Proctor, but for the sake of this show, you can just call me Phil. And today we have with us in our improvised studio a dear friend of mine, Jamie Alcroft, who has had and is having the most remarkable life, and because he's had a second chance at life.
Wonderful to be here. It's great to be back. I have had a change of heart.
Yes.
I had a change of heart about 4 years ago.
That's right.
Literally, your old ticker gave out.
That's right.
I remember you could hardly make it up the stairs.
To your place, and that was only 3 stairs.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, man.
So you had a heart and a liver transplant.
Heart and liver. I have a 46-year-old heart and a 72-year-old body.
Wow.
I don't know whether I have a midlife crisis or get a reverse mortgage. I'm so conflicted. It's crazy. What a life.
But you've also dedicated some of your professional life now to encouraging people to be donors.
I do. I'm an international ambassador for One Legacy, and One Legacy is the organization.
People with one legs?
No, it's not that kind of legacy, Mr. Punster. It's the organization that actually matches the donors with the recipients.
Wow.
So they found me a heart from a motorcycle accident in Northern California, a 46-year-old guy. And it was really fortunate because sometimes people wait for like 18 months.
Well, you waited. How long did you wait?
I was only on the list for a month. I got really lucky.
Wow.
They found the right size heart, the right blood type. But, people in America don't fill out their donor cards as much as they could or would or should. Or it's only 52%, I think it is now, that fill out the donor cards. And 22 people a day die because the organs they need aren't available. So, I could have died because this is a great way to start off a show.
It is.
You survived, by God.
I did survive.
You did.
And thanks to my donor.
Right.
Anyone listening to this, I encourage you to fill out your donor card because, people want to leave a legacy. They want to be remembered in life.
What greater way?
I remember my guy every day. I might not know his name, but his heart is beating in my chest and enabling me to play with my granddaughter, to go make my jewelry or make my abstracts or be on this show and just be here. Hell, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back with a vengeance, man.
The heart transplant is now so successful. Yeah. Of course, there's nothing about it that's routine. But the fact that you're here and you're living a normal life.
It is really the finest form of recycling. We recycle cans and bottles and stuff. And the most recyclable thing in the world is the human body because we can give sight to the blind. We can recycle our eyes.
Yep.
We give tendons, ligaments, and people say, well, I'm too old to be a donor. Nobody wants this crap anymore. But that's not true because old skin stretches better on burn victims.
Oh.
How's that? It's less pain for the burn victim because the skin is not snapping back.
The psychological implications of having a heart transplant are pretty intense.
It was.
You were at a certain point where it was so critical that you had to be ready, literally physically ready at the hospital for the eventuality, hope, that a heart would come in.
That's why they were holding me in the hospital.
And that's why you were telling friends who were coming to visit you to, don't buckle the seatbelt.
And don't wear a helmet. And drive as fast as you can. I was creating donor, in my own way.
Little sidetrack here. Jamie wrote a book called The Tin Man Diaries while he was waiting for his heart transplant.
That's right.
So he could tell the story of his life in case it was over.
I'm dying. I got to get at least a good 20 minutes out of this. You're going crazy yourself. Somebody's got to die for me to live.
You sound like everybody on an HMO plan.
Oh, and that was another thing. Medicare paid for everything. Yeah, $2 million. Well, actually, that's not true because I did get a bill for $37.50.
Oh, that's outrageous.
I'm suing them.
This is really an example of how great U.S. medicine can be.
Yes, it is.
Because you had 2 teams No pun intended, because this is Phil's department, but this is cutting edge stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
How did this affect you? Obviously, the fear of it all, but the existential threat of a very good chance of dying.
There was no fear.
No fear.
No fear. I got to tell you, I was at home and I would lay down and I would run out of breath. And I have to stand up to catch my breath. Mm-hmm. And I'd lay down again and I'd run out of breath. So for 3 or 4 nights, I slept in a chair. My feet started to swell and other extremities started to swell, not in a good way. And think of a grapefruit and a tennis ball. That's all I'm going to say. And it was all water retention because my heart was not pumping. It was just wasn't doing it. So I went to the doctor and they ran a test on me and he said, "Well, Mr. Alcroft, I don't like your number." I said, "My number?" He said, "Yes, it's down to 7%.
Wow.
You are going to need a new heart." And he was from Alabama, but he was talking like this. It really kind of threw me a little bit because I never heard him do an Indian impression before. But when he said that to me, I felt all of the control drain out of my body. It was like a puddle on the floor of all the control that I'd ever had in my life. And I just surrendered. I surrendered to the transplant. I surrendered to death. I surrendered to the hospitalization. Whatever you're going to do, to the extent that I didn't want the nurses going, "Okay, when they gave me a shot, here we go now, ready, here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, get ready." None of that. And they knew when they came in my room.
Just do it.
Just stab me. Because the only thing I had left in my life was surprise.
That probably took a lot of stress off of you and probably was healthier, kept you going.
It had to be healthier.
How did your family, how did it affect your family? Did it bring it together? That's just a whole nother dimension to this.
My family has really been together all along. I have a wonderful family. And they were tremendously supportive, but they were petrified. Yeah. My daughter, Hayley Kiyoko, has written a screenplay about the family's experience. When the pandemic began, she took my book, The Tin Man Diaries, available on Amazon, and she read it, and as she went through it, she chronicled what the family was going through. And she's written a screenplay about it called Dad, and they're currently looking for a lead. I haven't read the script. So I don't know what the family's situation was through it, other than what they've told me, I was blissfully unaware what my family was going through, I guess, because I was being kept alive in a hospital bed with 11 IV bags. And I'm laying there.
Wow.
And Phil comes in to see me. He says, "How are you doing?" I said, "Oh, okay, I'm here." I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "I got this tennis elbow. It's just killing me."
That's right, I did. Listen, I'm just glad it wasn't called Dead.
They could have added an E.
Any reason why you haven't read the script?
She hasn't let me. That's okay. It's not. I haven't said, "Let me read the script." No, Dad. We've never had that conversation. It's unspoken. I just know that I really don't have a right to read her script unless she offers it to me.
Yes.
And
you have an amazing family.
Yes.
Let me start with my wife, Sarah. Sarah Kawahara is a ice skating choreographer, and we met because Peggy Fleming saw Mack and I perform at the Comedy Store in 1981. But we were larval comics.
Yeah.
We had only been together 6 months when we came to LA. And we didn't know what happens when it's a showcase of some sort.
Yeah.
Well, Peggy Fleming called the Comedy Store, found out we were with William Morris, and called William Morris. And then my agent called me, Jeff Witch is the best agent ever lived. And he's still living. And he called, James, guess what? Peggy Fleming saw you last night. She wants you to do her ice show. She wants me to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, she's doing an ice show in Lake Tahoe. We were that funny, they want to ice us? and so we performed for 3 months at Harrah's Lake Tahoe with Peggy Fleming, and skied every day and did comedy every night. in that Peggy left the show.
Yeah.
And the only person who could skate her role was the one who taught it to her. So
Sarah
Kawahara, who had choreographed for Peggy Fleming, in Ice Capades.
Oh, that's how you...
She started skating, and I'd stand in the wings every night.
I'll bet.
And see this beautiful Asian princess out there skating so beautifully. And Sarah has moves that no other skater in the world. I mean, people will do something on the ice, and somebody will say, "Oh, well, that was very Kawahara."
Did she make a move on you, or did you make a move on her?
I made a move on her. I asked her out for mushrooms. Not the magic ones, but that might have been an idea, because I'm a fun guy. That's why.
Speaking of magic mushrooms, the next Firesign Theater album that's going to be released is our live magic mushroom shows that we did for Radio Free Oz.
Oh, wow.
We have one out now, by the way, if anybody's interested. Our latest album is called Back from the Shadows.
Yes.
And it is a remastering of our live performances.
It's a
double record set. Downloadable.
You can open it up and roll joints in it. Yeah, great. I love those double records.
And the album that's out now also has an 83-page book downloadable PDF.
Wow. 83 pages.
83 pages. Stories about our touring days, like 180 pictures. It's absolutely amazing. A little magic mushroom side trip, man. And now back to the ice show with Sarah Kawahara.
No, back to our show. And we went out, and she had chicken wings. I had deep fried mushrooms. So we got together that night, and we've been together ever since. And she is my soulmate. She's amazing. She choreographed all of Scott Hamilton's professional career, Ty and Randy. She choreographed Michelle Kwan. She choreographed numbers for all of the ships that are out at sea. All the ships out at sea. The 12 Royal Caribbean ships have ice rinks on them, and they have ice shows. And she choreographed those. And then she got an Emmy for Scott Hamilton TV special she choreographed, the first ice skater to ever get an Emmy.
Wow.
She choreographed the opening ceremonies of the Salt Lake City Olympics.
You have to see
the
that.
opening ceremonies of the Salt Lake City Olympics were incredible.
Staggering.
And it was a three-year project with Don Mischer, and it was brilliantly done, I thought.
Yep.
And she received a second Emmy for her work on that. So we got 2 Emmys in the house, and they're both hers. And then my daughter Elise has given me a beautiful 2.5-year-old granddaughter and grandchild. It's her daughter. It's my grand.
Yeah.
Then my other daughter Hayley, she is a pop star, a director, a producer,
videographer.
Everything. Videographer. Amazing. She is going to be directing a movie, and it's just amazing.
Now, for people who may not know her career, she was on CSI
Cyber. Well, she started on a Disney movie called Lemonade Mouth. She played Stella. She appeared on Wizards of Waverly Place and
Scooby-Doo.
In Scooby-Doo, right. She played Velma Dinkley in 2 Scooby-Doo movies for the Cartoon Network. And then she went on to see it, which was her first adult role, CSI Cyber, with Ted Danson and Patricia Arquette.
Yep.
And she was the hacker.
Didn't you once ask your kids what they all wanted to do?
I did. I asked my eldest daughter. She said she wanted to be an art teacher. I asked my son. He said he wanted to design video games. And I asked Hayley, and she said, "I'm going to be a star, Dad."
Wow.
So it was just the semantics of it.
And how old was she?
She was probably 6.
6 years old, she told you that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kids were always precocious with you know, I have 3 precocious children. And my son, Thatcher, is, in fact, designing video games.
He was also working with Hayley on the road.
He was.
Right?
Yeah.
And for those who have been following
Hayley Kiyoko.
Yeah, her career, she is known as the lesbian Jesus.
She is. She's a queer woman, and she sings about queer love.
Love, yeah.
She sings about what she knows. She sings about what she feels. And
makes extraordinary music videos.
Extraordinary music videos that she's directed, and Brian Grazer has taken note of it over Imagine, and it's wonderful, the attention that she's gotten through her work. And she has worked very hard at it. She started writing music when she was 12, and I built a studio in the garage for her in our house because the neighbors would come up to me and say, and her drums was her first instrument. So they'd say,
That's right.
Boy, that Hayley, she sure practices a lot, doesn't she? She's really, I think she's getting better. And this was somebody who lived like 3 blocks away. And I had people offering to buy her flute lessons. So I finally built a soundproof studio there so she could just wail away on the drums and write all the music she wanted to. And
her theme is so timely as far as gender interests, because I took my daughter to her very first arena rock show, which was Panic in the Disco.
Yes.
The opening act was Hayley.
That's right.
And my daughter was so excited that she was the opening act.
Oh, that's great.
Because my daughter's 18.
Yeah.
And coming up through school, gender was the thing. Yeah. It is the thing.
It is the thing.
I was just talking to her on the way over here. She's up at college now, and she said, I said, yeah, I'm going to go interview Hayley's dad. She said, please tell him that Hayley is so cool, and thank her for being so cool.
That's great. It's inspiring that mothers and fathers have come up to Hayley after the concert in tears, thanking her for saving their daughter's life. She has made being a queer teenager
acceptable.
Not acceptable,
embraceable,
a norm. It's a role model. Yep, she's a role model for these girls, and these girls that are going through so much pain and torture, and even boys over their sexuality. And look, it really came home to me. I watched the Today Show. Maria Shriver was interviewing Hayley on the Today Show, and it's a wonderful interview. It's only about a 12-minute interview, but apparently it went on for 2 hours.
Wow.
And in the 12-minute interview on the Today Show, Hayley said, growing up, I felt like a monster. And to a parent, that just crushed me, because you feel so responsible for your children's happiness when they're growing up. Of course. And the fact that she felt like a monster, and I didn't know, and I couldn't help her. She was in love with her 4th grade teacher, who was a really attractive woman. I was kind of hot for it too.
Hot for teacher.
We had a thing. It wasn't hard. Anyway, she really hurt. She didn't hurt me. I chose to hurt from that message that she was putting out, and feel responsible for something that, again, out of my control. It's in the past.
That's right.
My daughter announced to me during high school that I was no longer allowed to address her friend by her female name, because she had decided she's a he or a them. And now when she's at school and you listen to any Zoom call, everything's prefaced, even the professors are prefaced with, hi, I'm Bob Smith, and I identify with him and his, which seems a little over the top. What would you say to somebody who is outraged by this and isn't sensitized to it? How do you explain that so that there's some empathy here?
They were born that way, and they're not being the way they are to make you feel uncomfortable and make you feel out of place. They're just trying to live their lives as truthfully as possible.
Yes.
And I think this pronoun thing that we're going through, it's typical of any social evolution. And we really are going through an extreme social evolution right now when it comes to gender, when it comes to division, politics.
Yes.
We're so divided that there's this little acceptance. But I think it's just a bump. I think that with social evolution, there's always an overreaction at first. There's always this not knowing how to deal with things that are changing and feeling uncomfortable and feeling threatened by that change. And I think it's just evolutionary. I think it's all gonna work out.
I think it's part of normal upbringing. You question for maybe even a nanosecond your sexuality when you're growing up and becoming sexual.
I think you do.
You go through that thought process.
Sure.
They either realize they're gay or they're straight. Right? But
or they're bi.
But this social media thing just amplifies that process.
In your Facebook.
Yeah. And that amplifies the outrage and the intolerance.
But it brings it to our attention. Can you imagine if we'd had social media in the Vietnam War,
Yeah.
it would have ended a lot sooner than it did.
Because the war was televised. People could palpably see it.
Television brought it home.
And we
to
had
us.
Walter Cronkite, who chronicled it with great honesty. The news at that time was really something that people religiously would watch every night, and on the 3 channels that we had. And they were always reporting the body count in Vietnam and what was happening. And that was one of the things that got us out onto the streets.
The only thing that changed was getting rid of the draft.
Beat the Reaper! Beat the Reaper!
It didn't curtail war by any stretch.
No. You originally you were going to be a man of the cloth, weren't you?
I was, yeah. Yeah, I was going to be a Presbyterian minister because I was inspired by my minister at Reverend John Holland in Morristown, New Jersey, at the Presbyterian Church on the Green there.
Nice.
He was really great. Fire and brimstone. He'd quote out a Playboy magazine and stuff. He was just so hip, and I thought, wow, what a great man,
Great platform.
This is fun. I didn't realize I just wanted to be a stand-up comic. I just wanted a microphone and a crowd.
But you started in radio.
I was the morning guy in Key West.
You are a silversmith?
I was a silversmith in my 20s.
Right.
I learned from a master silversmith in Colorado, and then went on to have stores in Key West.
When were you in Key West?
I was there 75 through 80.
The wild days.
Those were the halcyon days. Everybody just rode bicycles. We went to vegetarian feasts on the island every night. Everybody hung out.
You met some interesting people there, too.
I met Tennessee Williams. I was directed by him in a production of Cabaret.
What?
I played Cliff Bradshaw. He was the director.
In Key West.
Yeah, in Key West.
You're going to be going back to Key West
I'm going back.
to celebrate the 3rd printing of a book that you edited.
That's right.
About stories of Key West, which is wonderful.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Home at the End of the World, compiled by Rita Troxel. Conchronicity, we called it at first, because back in the day in Key West, Dee Dee made the clothes, and we all wore these loose-fitting cotton Mexican shirts.
Real community.
And it was a real community. It was kind of funky. Sloppy Joe's Bar, there was Captain Tony's, never any big crowds to speak of.
That's right.
And then we came up with Fantasy Fest. There was a fellow on the island.
Fantasy Fest.
But Fantasy Fest is this Halloween festival coming up that they have in Key West. The whole island goes crazy. Tony Gregory spray paints naked bodies. People are naked. The first Fantasy Fest I hosted, and I was Gene Simmons.
Oh, my God.
It's amazing. And it is a huge gay community down there. And, of course, they all really get into it. And when I moved there, I came out as a practicing heterosexual. And as it wasn't easy, but I did it for myself. I identified with her, wow, and gorgeous. And there were just so many beautiful women down there.
Yeah.
And so few men to date them. And not to be lascivious about it, but that was a big attraction of the island back then. Free love.
Yeah,
and
free love.
There was lots of pot, and people were doing acid and mushrooms, and not that I did that then.
Leary always said the set and the setting are important, and that was a great place.
A free island. And one day I'm in my store, and I noticed a fella at the counter across the way. And I went up, and as I came around, I realized that it was the center square. It was Paul Lynde. And he's looking at the case, and I come around, and I stand behind her, and I said to him in his voice, "Can I help you?" And he said, "I love that buckle." And in his voice back to him, I said, "I call it my quick release." And I pulled it out of the case, and I showed it. I said, "Just push that turquoise in the middle, and the buckle pops open." And he bought it. It was like $300 or something. A big chunk of silver, big chunk of turquoise, and you pushed it, and buckle popped open. Perfect for Paul's lifestyle. So then, over the next 3-4 years, he would just pop in. Whenever he got a new boyfriend, he's pop his head in the store and go, "Jamie, need another buckle?" And I go, "Quick release." He said, "Oh, you betcha." I'll pick it up tomorrow. And we just had a great relationship. He would bring his buddies. I started doing stand-up.
But wait, you're doing radio there as well.
I was doing radio, and I was hosting Bonnie Raitt concerts, and Jackson Browne, whoever came to town, Jimmy Buffett, whoever was there.
So you're an MC.
MC and I knew that I loved doing that. It was like Reverend John Holland.
Yeah, that was your pulpit, huh?
Without all the dogma.
Right.
I got off the air one day, and I had a note waiting for him. He said, "You must be one of the funniest men in Key West. I'm the other one, Mack Dryden." And I went over to his address, didn't have a phone. I went over to his address, rode my bike over after work, and I started a career by meeting with him. We had similar goals. We had a similar sense of humor. However, we were markedly different people. He was from the South. He was a carnivore. He was he was from the South.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
A little bigoted.
And that's a good word. We used that in our act because I was this Yankee, this northern snotty nose.
Classic.
Yeah, and he'd say, how do you say in the South, how's your family? I said, how's your mama and them? So that's right. He used to give me a little quiz and stuff like that. I'm happier than a baby and a bear full of titties, let me tell you. And we'd use all that stuff, and we'd use the fact I was a pescatarian and he was a carnivore, and all the differences in our life. But we both kept a great sense of humor about it, and we had a TV series in the 80s called Comedy Break with Mack and Jamie. Yeah. Did 125 shows. We launched Kevin Pollak on television.
Who's been a guest on the show.
Yes, he has. The first time on television, we put Ellen DeGeneres, Paul Reiser, Rick Overton.
You guys are also on the Carson Show.
We did Johnny twice, and we did Jay once. That was a great thrill. I mean, standing behind that curtain, hearing Johnny say your name.
Wow.
Nothing like it.
No.
Nothing like it.
In those days, gave you quite a bump, right?
Yeah, a big bump.
Now, was that before you did your TV show?
It was before we did our TV series.
That was your national introduction.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. Let me tell you a little showbiz story. We went into Toby, who was running Viacom at the time. We actually called them the Viacomese because they were the enemy of comedy, the Viacomese. Yeah, the Viacomese. We went in, and he said, well, guys, you've done 2 seasons with you. We did 50 shows, and then we got renewed for 75. And he said, we'd like to do another 125 shows.
Whoa.
And we said, great, fantastic. And Max said, but we need at least 2 writers.
2 new writers.
Yeah.
Who was on the staff then?
So we had 5 writers and Mac and myself to do 6 shows a week.
Whoa.
6 half-hour original comedy sketch shows a week.
And how did you shoot them? Did you shoot them 3 at a time or something like that?
Shot them 5 at a time.
5.
Wow.
The first 50 we did live on a Saturday morning. We shot 5 shows. We did it with Ruth Buzzy, Tom Poston.
2 friends of mine.
And we'd send them the scripts like a couple days before. They probably didn't look at them because everything was on cue cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard Mall knocked out Mac on live television one day at the S&M Diner.
Good evening, sir, and welcome to the S&M Diner, where the waiters smack your lips for you.
Oh, my, thank you.
A little something before dinner, sir?
Yes, I believe I will.
Would you like to see a menu, sir?
What are your specials?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Our specials today are just fabulous, sir. We have rack of lamb, black and blue-eyed peas, mashed potatoes with whipped butter, crushed conch fricassee, and of course, there's the vegetable of the day.
What's that?
Squash.
Oh, it's exciting.
Would you like to order your dessert now, sir?
Well, what do you have?
Ice cream.
You do?
Oh, I
Really?
would for you. Yes, of course.
I bet.
Hey, would you like your nuts crushed?
Sure, I bet.
I'll be right back with your order, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Richard Mall from Night Court actually has a reputation of knocking people out.
Oh, did he really?
In real life, yes.
Oh, can any of these be seen on YouTube or anything?
Some of them are on YouTube. I have them all, and I guess I should put them up on YouTube, but I just haven't taken the time to do it.
Again, the name of the show if someone's looking
Comedy Break
for it? Comedy Break.
with Mack and Jamie.
So the Hollywood story with Toby at Viacom.
We go in with Toby, and Toby's the boss. And he says, we want to renew it. And Max said, we need 2 writers. And I said, well, okay, let's get 2 writers. He says, I can't give you 2 writers. I said, well, we can work something out, can't we? He said, no, I can't give it. I can't. This is it. This is a budget. It's going to be the way it was. You got 5 writers and you 2 guys. That's just the way it's going to be. Wow. And Max said, I can't do it. I can't do it again. I can't do it. And I looked at him. I said, what? You're not... Wait a minute. We got another seat, another 125 shots. What, are you kidding me? He said, no, I won't do it. And he called Toby's bluff and got up and walked out of the office. And of course, being a comedy duo, I followed him. I wasn't going to stay there.
That's right.
Make excuses to Tony about Mac. So I just followed him out, and we walked out into the hallway. I said, what the hell did you just do? He said, don't worry. They'll come with it. I said, no, they won't. No, they won't. And we're standing there waiting for the elevator, and this salt and pepper haired woman walks up to us, and she says, "Are you Mack and Jamie?" "Yes, you are. You're Mack and Jamie." And I looked at her, and it was Carol Burnett.
Oh my God!
And I said, "Carol, oh my God, how'd you know us?" She said, "Are you kidding me? I love the show.
Oh,
I love your show. I love what you guys are doing.
Skit comedy.
It's sketch comedy.
Sure.
You guys," she said, "guy, keep it up." And I said, "Well, you love the show. Talk to this guy because he just quit." So we rode down in the elevator together, and we stood at the downstairs parking lot of that building and talked with her for about 45 minutes.
Oh my God!
And she tried to sway Mac, and she didn't.
Really?
Yes.
He really wanted to quit, I guess.
He really wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Speaking of hiring a couple writers, these 2 guys knocked on the door of my office, and I opened the door. He said, "Hi, we're here from Detroit, and we love your show. I said, how'd you guys get on the lot? He said, "Man, we just sneaked on the lot." He said, "We're the Scully brothers, and we're from Detroit, and we wrote some stuff, and we were wondering if you'd consider it for the show." I said, "Well, yeah, we're always, looking for material. I know I'm always looking for material. Sure, my checkbook's always open."
Yeah.
Bill Maher used to say. I looked at the stuff. I said, "Listen, this looks pretty good. Why don't you come back tomorrow? We'll have lunch, okay? I'll make sure you can get on the lot and you can get on legally, and we come back tomorrow and we'll have lunch." He said, "Great." So I'm reading this stuff, and it's great. It's really, really funny. And I walked into our producer, Phil Hahn, and I said, "Phil, look at this stuff. It's brilliant. It's great. I mean, Mac can play this role. I could do this one. But we can't do this. We can't hire anybody. Can't hire anybody. No way." He said, "It's not happening, Jamie. Just forget it." I said, "Well, they're coming for lunch tomorrow, and I got to tell them something." He said, "Tell them no." So they came for lunch the next day, and I decided to open my checkbook.
Okay.
I said, "I will pay you $100 for every sketch, and what about 20 for every joke?" They said, 25? I said, "Sure." So I had a relationship with the Scully brothers now. They're living in their Delta 88, right? So after about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm buying this material from them. I don't know how much I spent, but I'm spending money.
Yeah.
And I'm turning it in, and we're doing it. We're producing it. It's going on the air.
Good.
They're not getting credit for it.
They don't get credit.
But they got credit later.
Yeah.
Because one of the brothers, Mike Scully, went on to be the producer of The Simpsons. And the other brother went on to produce Family Guy, one of the best cartoons
Huge.
ever. So those were the Scully brothers from Detroit. And years later, Mike called me and put me on The Simpsons briefly for a few roles. He did what he could do. I filled in for Hank Azaria.
Yeah.
And then Hank heard me do one of his voices, and he got really pissed and had me fired. So those are the connections. When you've lived as long as we have, we do have the privilege of friendship, and we have the privilege of having friends still with us.
The continuity of friendship.
I'll tell you, man, there's nothing better than friends.
Thank you so much, the amazing Jamie Alcroft.
What an absolute delight.
Thank you. It was a delight to be here, Ted and Phil. Your sexy boomer adventure was truly wonderful.
All right. See you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
You've been listening to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show, featuring Phil Proctor and Ted Bonnet and their special guest, Jamie Alcroft. Music by Eddie Betos and the Nervous Brothers. To hear all the Sexy Boomer shows, go to our website, sexyboomershow.com. And please, tell your friends about the Sexy Boomer Show. I'm A. Ernest Guy. Stay tuned for the next episode of Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show, produced by RadioPictures.com, the makers of fine podcasts for seasoned hipsters, man.